Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. I'm Angela Wolf, and we are here today with two special guests, the Brother Educators, which, if you've noticed, has been a trend the last few Thursdays, and the education we're getting on these machines is incredible. But not only that, wait till you see what these girls have today. So I'm not going to make them wait much longer. Come on up here, Barb and Kathy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
So we are so excited to be taking over Brothers page as brand ambassadors and educators. We are on Brother Sew's Facebook and YouTube page and Brother Crafting, both pages. So you can leave comments if you've never been here before. Say where you're from. You never know. Some of you are my neighbor. I didn't even know it. So this is fantastic. So Kathy, why don't you say hi and just tell us a little bit about yourself? Some of these people have never met you before, and they're going to be the ones who have are going to be excited to see you. So.
Well, my name is Kathy, and I live in a little town called Hilliard, Florida, which is northwest of Jacksonville, Florida. I love being a brother educator, but my most favorite job is being grandma to 3 boys.
Oh, that's fun.
It is. They're a hoot.
So, Barb, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Angela. I'm so excited to be here, be a part of this. I'm Barb Mikolajczyk from the Chicago area. I'm a retired educator, so I still love to teach and I love to sew, have all my life. And I'm excited to show you what I call custom quilting on the Luminaire.
Oh, this is going to be so exciting. This is one of my favorite things. I do it on my garments, but looking at this is the best part is I got to see these girls' projects yesterday. I got the heads up. So just out of curiosity, I know many joining here, and they're loving the educators coming on because there's a lot of things on these machines. So you're going to be using the Luminaire, correct?
Yes.
But my design center is on some of the older machines. So if you have a brother machine, mention it in the comments and we'd love to see what you're working on. So the tips that she'll be giving on is on the creme de la creme machine, the best of the best, which we love at Brother. But they have a lot of good machines. And I know some of you have asked in the past shows when we've been working on my design center that you have the dream machine. Well, work on there. Well, it doesn't mean you'll have all of the things that this one has on my design center, but you can still get the gist of it. So all right, so, well, Barb, would you like to set us up at your machine while Kathy shows us a couple cool samples?
That'll be fine. Sounds good.
That sounds good. All right, Kathy.
All right, my turn.
Set up on her machine, and you had some gorgeous things, so why don't you just show a little eye candy?
Okay, so this is one of our new hexagon quilt sashing frames. And I'm loving the hexagon shape. So this is a table runner, and I'm only showing half of it. The other half back here.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
So you're going to have so much fun. And this is on the Luminaire 2, or if you have the Luminaire 1 with the upgrade 2.
That's perfect. That is so gorgeous. And we were talking about the hexagon just a couple weeks ago. I think Cindy was showing us some tips on the 10 needle with that. And will you just hold that up again to show the quilt sashing so people know what that is? we said we're going to show samples, toss and throw. I forgot to tell you before you threw. Oh, that's gorgeous. Absolutely.
And so there is a hexagon design built in the center. It's beautiful. Built into the machine.
Love it.
So that's one.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to, before you go on with the other things, I see that Barb is ready. So what we're going to do is Barb is going to be doing the tutorials today. Kathy and I are going to help answer questions, and then Barb will keep popping back in and out. So we kind of are doing a little bit, just a fun format. But don't forget, you can ask your questions, and you can watch this show later. Save it to your page or do whatever you want to so you can, watch this again later or come back to the Brother Sews page. But while we're doing this, you can ask your questions. If I don't answer you right away, it's because I don't want to interrupt Barb or Kathy when she's showing samples. So just ask away and we'll catch them. So Barb, are you ready for us? I'm going to bring you back in here.
I'm ready. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you something like Kathy did. First of all, here's what we're going to stitch on. It's a table runner, just like Kathy, but we're going to custom quilt it. So I'm going to tell you how that's going to happen. So to do a design, you need to come up with whatever you want that's custom. This is on a fall table runner for Thanksgiving. So I made up this pattern of leaves. So I'm going to
That's
quilt with this pattern. And you're going to ask, well, how did you get that pattern? I went online, I looked for leaves. I got a bunch of all different little leaf patterns. And then I took my copier and I would just blow them up and make them bigger until I found some that I really liked. And once I found things I liked, all different leaves, then I took a light box and an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and I just traced the outline of the leaves. Now, the secret here is that you want everything to connect, because when you're quilting, you definitely want one stitch. You don't want a whole lot of tie-offs on the back of your quilt. So everything is connected. So then I would put that on my scan board and I would scan it into the machine. So you know how to scan, I'm guessing, or that can be another lesson, and I'm going to show you another way to do this. So you're going to start in your design center, and you're going to go to the scan icon, which is this fern right up here. And here you have the option to scan either an image, a line, or a illustration. Obviously, we need the line design, so I'm going to go ahead and say line. But before I do that, here's a big secret. Everything defaults at a satin stitch. Change that right now before you scan it, and then it will be a line design or a line stitch. So I'm going to come in here, touch that, assign a single running stitch, and okay. Now see how that's changed to running stitch? So anything I scan now will scan as a running stitch rather than a satin stitch. So back to scan, which is that fern leaf.
Hey, Barb.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to I see a couple questions coming in, but just real quick while you're at that screen, and Kathy, maybe you can help me with this too.
Okay.
Let me bring your screen up here. So when you did that to the satin stitch, and then you're going to show them how to scan it in, but you had mentioned that you turned it into a line drawing. Could you just explain the difference between the three things on there? Because this has been a common question the last few weeks. So you can turn it into a line drawing or an image. Could you
Or
just
an
give
illustration? So the image we're going to be doing, because the image is your quilt or your table runner. You just want an image of it to know where to place your stitching. The line design is the actual design that you're going to create to stitch. So it's a running line, or it could be a satin stitch, could be any number of stitches. And Kathy, I know, has a sample of that later. The illustration is when you scan something in that's already colored, and it will fill it all in and digitize it as it's shown in the picture.
Awesome.
So for quilting, we only want to work with line designs or image scans.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Barb.
Sure. So if you are going to scan in your design, you're going to go to line design, and you would go scan and okay, and it will scan your board and come up on your screen. I've already saved this in the pocket of the machine, so I can go over back out here, and here is my memory pocket. I'm going to go to the memory pocket, and here's my design. Now, it would usually be the first one, but I've been working with lots of different things. So I select my design, say okay. Now you can send this over by taking a picture in the app. You don't have to scan it on your board. So there's lots of ways to do this. So here's my design. This is what we're going to work with. But now I need to know where to place it to fill in my quilt or my table runner. So now I need the scan of the image of what's in my hoop. So I'm going to go back to the scan, the fern. That's that one up there. And this time I'm going to say image scan. And if I want to scan what's in my hoop, I just say scan and okay, and it will scan what's in my hoop. But again, I've already saved this. So it's in my machine under the image scan, and it's going to show up. There it is. The last thing you scanned will stay in your memory for you. So I'm going to select that and say okay or set. And now I have the design I want to stitch on top of my quilt or my table runner, whatever I'm working with. And there is a very, very important secret up here. This line will let you bring the image forward or the design forward by scanning back and forth. So here I've gotten rid of my image and I just have my design. Or if I go the other way, I can bring my quilt up to see specifically where it's already been stitched, or I can bring it to where I can balance and work with it. So that's a secret that you play with back and forth a lot. So now I know I'm filling in this area down here. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this. And I usually do random designs. So it doesn't matter, you know, where my pieces go. And I'll show you lots of samples after we do this. So I know I want to fill in this area, but I also know I've already stitched that sashing and this sashing, and I don't want to stitch on top of my block. So I need to start now erase what I don't want to stitch. So I'm going to bring up my eraser. And I'm going to make it square because I'm working around square straight lines. And I'm going to make it bigger. You can make it really big. So remember I said I've already stitched this sashing. So I'm going to start by just erasing what's on that sashing. And then I'm going to erase what's on this sashing and everything outside of that. And here again is this secret line up here. If I go all the way to my just the stitch, I can see if I've missed anything because that's really important. Now I'm going to come and erase the block. I don't need to stitch anything in my block, but I do want to leave the stitching on the sashing. Whoops. And if you touch something you don't mean to touch, all you do is undo it. You can undo 50 times. So now I didn't make this any bigger yet because I just did a general erasing, making sure I got everything in that area, and I did. I can see right here that there's pieces left over that aren't connected to anything, so I'm going to get rid of those, and I'll show you why. Now I'm going to make it 400% bigger. So I went to my magnifying glass, made it bigger, turned my pan hand on so I can move my design or my image, and I'm going to check that I don't have any stitches going on my block. If anything, I'm going to take it off of it a little bit more because I don't care if it's just shy, but I care if it stitches on my block because that you can really see. So I back this off a bit and that looks good. Now I'm going to pan over here to where I know I already have stitching. Can you guys see that stitching? I think you can. The green leaf. I don't want to overstitch. Heavens, no. So I start just, whoops, I have to take pan off. I start erasing what is overstitching what's already there. And I just play with this till I kind of get, again, if you want to be really fussy and you can, whoop, keep forgetting to turn pan off. And there's different ways to turn pan off, by the way. You don't have to touch pan. You can do 2 fingers and all those things. Now I'm going to go back and see the other area where I've stitched up to. Here we go. I can definitely see lots of stitching there. So I need to erase all of this. And now that my eraser is so nice and big, it just goes away really fast. And you can use your, taking that out to make sure that I've got all the pieces out of there. You can use your, you know, that thing that comes with the machine.
Your stylus.
Okay, your stylus. You can use that. Or you can use your finger. I am more of a just get everything done quicker. So I go back and forth and check a little bit. And now I think I have just the area I want to stitch ready to go. So that's how you go around. And it doesn't have to be a square block. It can be a round, and I'll show you some other things, a ballet shoe or whatever. So the next step is you will go down here to next in the corner. Select that. It's going to digitize it for you. Now here's the next really important secret. You must now link this little chain up here, link this design together. Because what you're going to get is you're going to see if it's not one red box, like I have little red boxes, that means something's not connected and you're going to have tie-offs. Can you see all those little red boxes in there? So now here's the other secret I have. You go back, you return to fix those, but I can never remember where they all are. So I take my phone, I take a picture of the image so I can refer to the phone. So I'm going to return so I can go fix all those, but now I don't remember where they were. So I just look at my phone and I can find where they were. So I have something right here that's not connected. And I'm going to just make this bigger. And
Barb, could you bring up your phone just a little bit so they could see? There we go. Now we can see that. Yeah,
so
great.
I can see each of the red boxes. So I know exactly where to go back to fix. Otherwise, I don't remember. I have to keep going back and forth and back and forth.
That's amazing.
Okay, so this piece right here is not connected. So I'm going to grab my eraser. I'm going to turn it to round now, and I'm going to make it a little smaller because when I'm at 400%, that eraser is pretty big. Okay, so that piece is gone. Now I have to go to figure out, I think maybe there's something right there not connected. So let me show you how to do that. It is a running stitch. I'm going to draw a line. Whoops, I got to get my camera up where you can see it. This would be my line. And I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to literally draw a line in there. I missed where I needed to draw it. Okay, it may not be exact, but you know what? You're never going to see that, but now it's connected. So let me pan over to the next place I have to correct. And that would be right here. See how that vein of the leaf is not connected? Back to my pencil, simply connect it. I don't like that one. Don't like that one either. Okay. See, there we go. And this is not connected. Now it is. I mean, don't go crazy over trying to make it exact because you don't see that. Trust me, you do not see that. Now I have this vein that's not connected. So let's just go here. Done. Oh, I bet I didn't get it all the way to the thing. And I'll know because I'll double check it by linking again. Golly, why is it I can always do it perfect when nobody's watching?
Oh, because that would, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen when it's live.
Of course it is. All right. I think maybe I have all my things connected. So we're going to try. I'm going to go back again to next. I'm going to go back again to link after it's done thinking and see if I have, oh, look at that. One red box, which means it's simply going to stitch beginning to end, and I'll have the tie off from the beginning and the end, and that's it. So now I'm going to stitch this, and I'm going to come back in a second and show you all the samples of all the other ideas. So we're ready to stitch. Move my phone. So I'll be back in a second, Angela.
Well, that sounds great. This is so exciting. So I see a ton of questions rolling in. So Kathy, the part where you can erase things to go around a section, I think is one of my favorite things. And also that you can undo 50 times.
50 times.
Okay. So do you have, Barb's coming back up to join us. Let's see. Oh, Barb, what do you got there?
Okay. So this is my first sample. All of these designs are built into the luminaire, and it's a frozen quilt, a frozen lap quilt. So all the designs are from Frozen. But here's what I want to show you is what I quilted it with. Why wouldn't you quilt Frozen with snowflakes? So how did I do that? I found snowflakes. I traced them. I made them small, medium, and large. And you have the quilting to go around your blocks. The entire thing is done with snowflakes. In here is a different lesson, different time where you can go around any design in your machine just by the press of a button. Okay, this one is a bike. Okay, this is probably my favorite. People love this more than anything else, but I quilted it with bikes. Can you see? Those are all pieces of bikes.
That's gorgeous.
Cute.
I just took the pattern cover, copied the pattern cover, multiplied it out, and then that was what I used to quilt the bikes with. All right, this one is all built in again. Winnie the Pooh designs. What I liked about this one is I took the words Pooh, Eeyore, Piglet, Bounce, whatever, and I just put together words. Again, make sure you connect them all. And I made them the width that I wanted to actually do on my border. I made 2 different ones so I could rotate them and you really can't see a pattern repeat.
Wow.
So again, quilted with words. So imagine what you can do. Here's a Halloween one. So all of these appliques, I just made a pattern out of them. Pumpkins, witches' hats, witches' boots, and I tied them together. And then you just erase where you don't want it to stitch. And then I also did quilting on all of these pieces of things built into the design center. They're a little hard to see because they were used with a matching color. This is a scarf that was given to me. Beautiful black scarf. And I just made it into a little wall hanging. When I did the sashing quilting, I did it by tracing one of the twigs of the flower. That's
oh my gosh.
And then I have a custom matching sashing to what's inside.
So could you bring that one? Hey, Barb, bring that last one back up. That is so beautiful. And I don't think, I just want them to see the sashing on the side too. That is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, it's fun because I did satin in here and the binding is velvet. It's and it's all filled with crystals. You can't see that on camera, but.
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely beautiful.
Fun. So I have a granddaughter that loves ballet. So I did this one with ballet slippers. So again, I just kind of copied the cover of the pattern and put it all together. And then you just do meandering lines to link the pieces together because that's what you do when you quilt. And it's quilted with ballet slippers.
Wow.
All right. So I did a series of 12 table runners, one for each month. This is August, sunflowers, quilted with sunflowers.
And so you're still, just because I can see some questions rolling in, so you're still just taking that design, scanning it in as a line drawing, and doing exactly what you just showed us in the demo.
Yes, it's all done that way, yes.
Wow.
These are all built into the Luminaire, Christmas designs, beautiful Christmas dove. And this, I just took Christmas images. So I have a reindeer and ornaments, a dove here. I have a cardinal here. And joy, just Christmas things. And that's how this is quilted.
Wow.
Okay, and these are all done in the design center around the designs. Oh,
that is beautiful. In fact, I think it's coming up to the season that we might want to make one of those. So that might have to be when you come on next. That we definitely need a tutorial on that.
Okay. Like I said, the designs are all in the Luminaire. So this is for Easter, obviously, and all I did was a crackle pattern that's built into the design center because it was eggs. And then I did a stitch in the ditch on the piecing, and I used the end point so that I didn't stitch over anywhere around the egg. It never went onto the outside area. So another feature in there. This one's with hearts for Valentine's Day, all quilted with that. Little hard to see because of the coloring, but you can see some of it on.
We can see it great.
Yeah. Okay. Now this is one of my favorite ones. This little soldier guy. I don't know if you can see him there. He's a wall hanging. So he's all done with stars. So the whole background is stars, just stars. But imagine what you can come up with. So see, everything around the background is quilted with stars. You can see them on the firecracker here a little bit. But I erased where I made the chenille where you don't want it to stitch on there so it doesn't tack any of that down. But in the design center, I then took built-in designs. See this brickwork here? And I did his hat with the bricks. I did his face with stippling. I did his jacket lapel with the crosshatch. Trying to get the light so you can see that. His jacket I did by drawing straight lines. So I'm a garment sewer and this is a garment fabric. And I actually drew straight lines to follow the pattern of the fabric. So it makes it look like it's 3D plaid that I know you can't see there. But I just took all the different things in the design center and added those to the different pieces. His shoes are wool. I mean, just crazy fun things. So what I want to say is you can do anything you can imagine. So I'll be back for questions. How's that sound?
This is awesome. So I'm watching these, Kathy, before we even see your samples. And they said, Barb, I'm pretty sure they're pretty sure that you never sleep because when you show that whole stack of quilts, oh my gosh. So the questions are rolling in, but I also want to see some of Kathy's samples. So let's see, Barb's ready to come back in here. So Barb, first of all, I just have to ask, those are so beautiful. Where do you get your inspiration for these quilts?
So actually it just comes from, a lot of times it just comes from a pattern that I see and I think, okay, what can I make with this pattern? And lately my passion has been this custom quilting. So then like when I got the soldier boy, it's like, well, what would be a good thing to go with that? Well, stars, of course. It just like for Frozen, what would be good for Frozen? Well, snowflakes. So go find snowflakes. I find them online. I find them in cards. I draw them myself. I'm not an artist. Do not think you have to be an artist to do this because I am not an artist. These are very simple things. You know, Christmas was with Christmas things. You just kind of take the inspiration from the pattern, from the main piece.
Yes. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Shirley says, you make it look so easy.
I know we're not supposed to say it's easy because it's not easy until you figure it out. But if we can get a class design that you could sit and be able to figure it out, you will think it is easy and you'll just go crazy. So if you like to imagine things and do something different, this is it. I don't like to do things everybody else does.
Definitely. And also, I saw somebody asking if they have this on their Dream Machine. And it was in the middle of you talking, so I didn't answer. So you have my design center on the Dream Machine. You don't have all of the parts that is on the XP1 and the XP2 with the upgrade, but you have my design center. So you don't have the app, but you can scan it in. You have the scanning board and play away with that.
Absolutely. You can do almost everything I showed here in any of those other machines. Even the, what am I thinking? The Stellaire that has the design center in it. You send pictures and send them in. You've got some features in there you can do some of this with too.
Definitely. All right. So Kathy, we would like to see some of the things that you are working on. So we're going to bring you up if that's all right.
That is fine.
Perfect.
So one of the things that I wanted to work on for the fall was a fall table runner. And this is made with a border print. I had never made one before, so I found instructions online and I found a beautiful border fabric. Once it was completed, I was thinking to myself, okay, so how am I going to quilt these borders? I knew that I could manually take the quilt sashing and do that on the straight sides, but I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do the ends. But then I got to thinking that, you know what? The ends are 60-degree triangles. If I put 6 of these 60-degree triangles together, I have a hexagon. So I just used the hexagon quilt sashing on the ends. And then for the borders, I just manually placed with the projector the straight pieces of my quilt sashing borders that I wanted to use. Then I just kind of filled in the middle with stipple. I wasn't as creative as Barb about putting leaves, but maybe if I do another one, I will put leaves in there. But, you know, you just have to kind of think. I've been playing a lot with the quilt sashing borders. And since we've all been stuck in home and I wanted to decorate for the holidays or seasons, this is one.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that has the borders as well, but I don't know if you can see that. This one is 2-color border.
Oh, we can. It looks great.
So now you have a 2-color border quilt sashing patterns that you can use as well.
That is so. Barb, on your what you had on there with, if I'm going to ask you to bring it back up here because I see like 3 or 4 questions. You have to do it right now. But that one that you did with the scarf, did you use the sashing borders on that?
Well, I did it in the design center with the design that I created.
Okay, so not exactly. So I saw somebody asking that. So that's different. So there is a section in the machine that actually has quilt sashing, and that is what Kathy's talking about here.
Correct.
So yeah, it's so much fun to do too.
Yeah, you can have the machine do it for you. You just put in the numbers. It's amazing.
Yeah. Kelly says, look at that thread collection.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's just like your fabric collection. A girl can never have too many.
Yeah, definitely. Arnell loves the welcome runner.
Thanks.
And there was one, I saw a couple more. So you keep showing your samples, Kathy. I'll find that one question. Oh, I know. So this would be for both of you. Wendy wanted to know, do you use the projector to test out the stitches to see what they're going to look like?
Do I use it to see it before I stitch it? Yes.
Yeah. And I'm going to bring Barb back up here. Hey, Barb, do you use the projector to test out the stitches to see what they're going to look like before you?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I? If I want it perfect, all I have to do is see it's going to be perfect and then press go. all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, I've gotten so lazy. I don't know if it's really lazy, but I've gotten so lazy that when I get ready to go to embroider anything, I just turn the projector on and I can make sure that if I'm trying to place it in one special spot. I was working on a hoodie for my nephew a while back, and all I had to do was just move that projector around. I made sure I wasn't going to hit the zipper, and the hoodie had like different areas, you know, where you had to get that design right in between there. That's all I used. I didn't use any other markings, and it turned out just beautiful. It embroidered right where it was supposed to.
Every time.
Definitely. All right, let's see here.
Did you want to see that scarf again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you have it? Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a couple questions on that, so bring that up for a second. And if I missed your question, just ask it again. That is absolutely gorgeous.
I mean, literally, the center is just a scarf. I didn't do anything except I did quilt it with a crackle pattern with invisible thread, so you can't really see that, so it doesn't disturb the actual beauty of the scarf. But then I wanted to bring in the same pattern, and that's how I drew the design, traced it off of the scarf to make the pattern. And again, it's random. Not all four corners are exact. They could be if I wanted them to be. But I don't always put everything symmetrical.
Love that. All right, Kathy, do you have any other samples there too? Oh, bring that piece of paper up, Barb. Or did I freeze you? Oh, I lost her for a second. She'll be right back.
Well, Angela, one of the things that I really love to do with some of the built-in quilting pattern fills is I like to make my own lace. I was hoping to be a grandmother of a baby girl, but this is the bodice of a dress. So I just stitched that pattern fill on top of tulle.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
And then I was able to put it as an overlay on a dress. I've made women's blouses where I've created the lace with those pattern fills to use as the sleeves of like a raglan t-shirt. And it just kind of dresses up.
That's really funny because last week I love embroidering lace, but I've only been doing one-off designs. I have not tried this in my design center where you can create an entire piece of fabric. That is a great idea. Now, so using that, just a couple things, because I know that there's a lot of people in here that love to embroider lace. When you do that with the lace, do you use the triple stitch or do you use the single stitch for that?
On this one, I use a triple stitch, and I just matched my bobbin thread to my top thread.
Can you hold that up one more time? That is absolutely beautiful, just so everyone can like really realize she embroidered that fabric in case you missed that.
So I embroidered the tulle because it's a separate layer.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And then just cut my pattern piece out of it.
Gorgeous. Hi, Barb. Welcome back.
Hi. I don't know why my camera went away, but it went away. But we're back.
That's okay. So I'm going to bring you back up here real quick because there's a couple questions. What did you stabilize the scarf with?
Well, when I made my sandwich, it was just like batting and the back. The back is the same as the border. So I didn't embroider on the scarf itself. I embroidered on the sandwich.
There you go. Dee wanted to know how you traced it, but if you go back and watch the beginning of this video, you'll see all of that. But did you do anything special to be able to trace on the scarf? Because on the other ones you traced on designs that you used. Did you just lay it on top and just kind of like visually do it?
Yeah, just like a light box. And it was thin enough and enough contrast because it's black and pink that I could see it easily.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Wendy. Oh, and Shirley had this question. What was the fabric on the border of that scarf?
I used like a silk.
Okay.
So it was a pale pink silk.
Perfect. Jenny says that dress is beautiful, Kathy.
Thanks.
That is.
And Esther wants to know what stabilizer you use for lace.
Just a water soluble. The
So
water
this is-
soluble that looks like fabric, not the topper.
Okay, excellent. And this has been a common thing that we've been talking about. I prefer the water soluble as well that washes away. And then there's some people who like the wash away that's sticky back. So just out of curiosity, that's what I was wondering. And you, Barb, which one do you prefer when you're doing anything real sheer, if you do lace?
I do the water soluble.
Yeah. And you know, it feels like fabric. And when you're stitching it, it stitches up so beautifully. And actually lace is so easy to embroider. And it's so beautiful and it's expensive to buy.
Right?
Really?
So what I usually do is I will have a layer of water soluble. I'll put my tool down and then I'll put another layer of that water soluble on top. Once it's stitched, I cut my pattern piece and I create my garment and then I wash out the water soluble. Now, if it were a fabric that you could not launder or get wet, you could always wash it out ahead of time.
Right. And that's a great way to sandwich it that way. Then the tool doesn't move around. Now, I have to admit, that new magnetic frame.
Awesome, isn't it?
Oh, goodness. That has been the lace. I'm just going to name that frame the lace because that's all it's been doing. It doesn't puncture the tool. I've been using it for that and embroidering on silk chiffon. It's perfect.
It is. Yeah. Can I show you a sample that I've been using the magnetic frame with?
Oh, we'd love that.
So I found this really cute winter gnome fabric.
Oh, that's
And I
gorgeous.
made this 8-point star to just kind of be a table topper.
Mm-hmm.
But if you'll notice, each blade of this star has a different pattern fill in it.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So what I do is I hoop this in my magnetic frame, and it's just the quilt sandwich that I'm hooping, the top, the batting, and the back. And then, you know, Barb talked earlier in her presentation about the image scan. So
Yeah.
in my design center, you scan what you have in your hoop as an image, and then you're able to go in and use the drawing tools to define the area where you want to drop your pattern fill in, your quilting design.
Could you show that one more time up close? I've seen a couple people say, let me see it again. I mean, if you look closely, so did you use two different colored threads on your outside sashing, or is it like variegated thread?
I used 2 colors. It was one of the 2 color sashings. And you see, I still haven't washed away my markings.
That's perfect. But I love the stippling in there. I was just working on a project similar to this. I love that. But yours is gorgeous. It's so, I do little things like table placemats. I haven't gotten into the bigger yet.
And in the corners, you know, we were talking about those big quilt sashing designs where you could go all the way around your quilt like I did here in the outside border.
Yeah.
You can make them small. So this one is sized to fit into a 6-inch square.
Oh, wow. That is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
So it's fun.
So Joanne, oh, hey, Joanne, how are you? Barb's holiday table runner made with, is your holiday runner made with lame? Because it was so shiny and the silver.
Some of it. Yeah, part of the blocks were, yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Gwen, what brand stabilizer? Of course, we're using Brother Stabilizer. We're on the Brother page.
Right?
Definitely. Oh, what do you have there, Barb?
Well, this is a little girl's dress. And I used kind of a lace pattern up here on the shoulder, but it's really around the skirt that's under the tulle.
Oh,
There's a tulle.
that's beautiful.
Gorgeous, Barb.
All the way around. So
Oh my goodness.
I did not construct this dress. I purchased the dress and then I just embellished it. There's so much that you can do. And
That's a great idea, especially for those that are a little bit afraid to make garments. That's a great idea for refashioning.
Yep. Yep.
Everybody's saying that's beautiful.
See, that's just ideas that you can take something and do more with it, whatever, because these machines just make it so easy to actually do amazing things.
Right.
Nice needle. Oh, do you use for lace? I do everything with 7511. What do you do, Angela?
I mix it up a little bit. 11 is my favorite for lace, though. I've even used 12, though, which is a little bit big, but it hasn't caused any problems. But 11, and sometimes I'll do 10 if it's a really intricate design. How about you, Kathy?
I'm a 7511 girl. I mean, I buy them by the box of 100, so.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, here's a question that comes up a lot. Do you use an embroidery needle? Do you use a top stitching needle? Or do you just use a universal needle? Or do you have anything special? Not brand, of course, but just the.
I used universal standard 7511 on everything because it's the power of the machine, not the strength of the shaft of the needle, that we can get by with that on these machines.
Yeah,
That's
mine's
awesome.
just standard.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's like, we could have a whole week long full of episodes of sewing machine needles and sewing machine thread, because some people get so overwhelmed with this. You know what? Just start.
And whatever works.
Yes.
So
Mary Lou, congratulations on your new luminaire coming.
Oh, you're going to love it. Gonna love it.
Kathy
So I
loves
have a
your
couple
dress.
other designs. I don't have the samples here, but to inspire people. So I've done unicorns.
Oh my God, that's going to be so cute. So then,
Cute.
so that's how you started then, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And then I just, connected them together. I took out some of the details that weren't connected, but it still looks, most of them look like this one up here, and they look like unicorns. So, and I've also done cats, because people love.
Oh yeah.
Cats. This was my granddaughter's graduation quilt. So it was her favorite things. She loves theater. She loves music. She loves boots and sewing, and high-heeled shoes. So I just took a bunch of her favorite things, and her whole thing was quilted with her favorite things.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
I've done snowmen on ice skates. I mean, you can just, anything you can imagine. If you could have something custom quilted and you would take it to a long armor and you'd say, I want this to be quilted with X, you can do that yourself on your machine.
So Barb, I have a new business idea for you. I'm going to be your first customer. I would like a coloring book, a Barb coloring book that I can scan in these.
Your brother.
I absolutely love that. Oh, Jenny, you're so welcome. Marcia needs a light box now. I love those light boxes, but what you're doing there even goes beyond that.
And in a pinch, you can always use your window when the light's shining through.
I used to do that.
Uh-huh. Same here.
I have never had problems with shredding on my universal needle, Beverly.
No, neither have I. And a lot of times it's not the needle, it might be the thread. So you just got to use your things and see what works. And
a combination of a lot of things. And also something that I was discussing with someone a couple weeks ago, they kept having, and I don't think they were necessarily on a brother machine, but they kept having problems when they embroidered where the thread kept breaking, shredding, breaking. Well, they had a nick in their bobbin case. So it could be something that simple, which is a very inexpensive fix.
Right.
So if you're having problems on any, the Luminaire or Dream Machine with things like that happening, take it to your dealer. First of all, they'll fix it if it has a problem or if it needs a cleaning or if it does have a nick in the bobbin case. It could be something so simple. And then if your machine's fine, then it's obviously thread and things like that. But you should keep your machine maintained, and that's what you got the brother dealer for too.
Correct.
Yes.
Good advice.
My needle threader works. Someone's asking about the needle threaders. Mine works on the 7511. Oh, my last part. But do not ever use the size 10 needle with metallic thread and the needle threader. That will cost you a little bit of money to get fixed.
Are we speaking from experience?
You know, it's one of those things that right when you hit the button, you're like, oh, why did I do that? Not once, but twice. Welcome back, Barb.
I don't know why my camera keeps going out, but
Oh, that's all right. If you're having crazy storms like we're having around here, my goodness, I was hoping that my power didn't go out. Oh, Emily says she loves your guys' inspiration. Oh, here's a question from Charlene. When you quilt with your embroidery, what thread do you use in your bobbin? That's a good question.
So I use bobbin thread. It's the fabric I put on the back of my quilts that will absorb the bobbin thread look. Sometimes I'll use the invisible thread, even in my bobbin. So if it's going to show up more and I don't want the color or the weight, but you want to use a bobbin weight thread in it because that'll bring the top thread through enough of the sandwich so that you don't have any bobbin thread poking through the top. You could always.
We'll finish that after her. She's on the other side of the Lake Michigan than me, so she's probably having the same storms, by the way. So, Kathy, what do you use in the bobbin? Do you use embroidery thread? Do you use the same thread? Do you use universal thread? Just as a idea.
Yes, to all of that. I mean, I've used a combination. Sometimes if I'm doing quilting a quilt that's a gift that I want it to look really nice, I will match my top thread to the bottom thread, be it my quilting cotton, whatever.
Yeah.
But if it's a wall hanging and I'm just being lazy, I just use a Brother pre-wound bobbin.
Those are nice. We like those. And Pam says she loves her pre-wound bobbins, and she wants to know if any of you know if there's invisible thread that are in pre-wound. Not that I know of.
No. I haven't found any.
But did you know, for those of you that didn't know this, that on the Luminaire, you can actually wind your bobbin while you're embroidering or quilt broidering or whatever you're doing. You can do both functions at the same time. So quite often, if I know I'm doing a larger project or if I'm embroidering lace, and I like to use the same color thread on the bottom, especially if you're going to be able to see both sides. So I will just keep winding my bobbins while it's embroidering. So you're multitasking and it works great. So if you haven't tried that, I know it's such a simple tip, but there's so many things about these machines that one little tip might save you some time.
And here's a little tip on winding the invisible thread. Slow it down so it doesn't stretch. And you can do that right on the top of the machine. It's nice and easy.
That's a really good tip.
Speaking of winding a bobbin, I love the fact that I don't have to fill the bobbin all the way full. I've got those incremental steps that I can set it at. So if I only need just a little bit of thread, I can set my bobbin to just wind half a bobbin.
That's really nice because I used to do terrible things like adding more thread to it when you just need a little bit. And I didn't want to unwind the bobbin, which I know that many of us have done that. You're not supposed to, because guess what happens? If you have a little bit of thread on your bobbin and you just add a little bit more to it, when you run out of that thread, the machine won't tell you that you ran out. And that's the whole best part of the machine is it'll tell you it's going to run out. But if you mess with what's going on there, it's not going to tell you. Okay. Oh, yes, Shirley, that is a good tip. So Pam's going to try to wind her invisible thread. Yeah, I think that's a great one. No, Dolores, I would not recommend that. She's asking if you can use a different foot from a different machine on a Brother machine. I would say no. You should just use Brother with Brother and keep it like that. That's what it's for. And there are also different machines have maybe a different size shank or different. Now, if you notice on the Luminaire, and I could grab one of my feet, the J foot, which did this start with the Dream Machine where it was just a little bit longer than the previous J foot?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's longer and it goes over heights of fabric. I call it heights because when I'm sewing jeans, it seems like it's more of mountains, but it goes up and down over fabric beautifully. And because it's longer, it gives you a longer bed for your fabric to feed through. It's really nice. So you can't use that on something else, and you shouldn't use something else on your machine. I'm seeing Kathy's got hers. There you go. Yeah. And the black button in the side. See the black button in the side? You guys have all seen us talk about that. You push that button and your foot will glide right over a big belt loop or a quilt edge or anything like that. That was always the aha moment. Definitely. Debbie, can you show how to do embroider and fill the bobbin at the same time, please? Well, hey, you know what, Debbie? I have a YouTube video I know on Brother page, but it's basically you're just embroidering and fill your bobbin. I mean, if you know how to fill your bobbin, you do that and you embroider while you're embroidering. It just does it at the same time. I don't have my machine set up for that right now, but go to Brother Sew's YouTube page and you'll see it. Marianne says she loves her J-foot. Oh, you're welcome, Pam. Thanks for the reminder. Jeannie wants to know, what size needle do you recommend for metallics?
Once again, I use 7511. I use the Brother Metallics and I have no issues.
Correct.
Even on my 10 needle, no problems.
That's awesome. So actually some people were talking, oh, you're welcome, Dolores. So there was a lady that was asking a few times about, she's looking for a 10 needle embroidery machine. So I actually have an older model. The newer model I'm drooling over.
I know, same here.
Yeah.
But if you, I think that question was a while ago, or I'd bring your comment up. If you go through the Brother Facebook page or YouTube page, look up Cindy Hogan. She's been demoing on that machine nonstop on here, and the demos were great. It shows some of the new features, and it has everything that Barb's doing here, you could do on that 10 needle.
Yes.
Correct.
On the new one. Yes.
Yep. All right, so much information. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this. Oh yes, and Jenny, you're welcome. Okay, so Marcia, do you need 2 spools at the same time to embroider and wind a bobbin? Yes, Marcia. Yeah. So that's a great question, because in case I didn't make that clear, you can't like actually embroider and wind a bobbin with the same spool of thread. So if that's what you were thinking, now that would be like that would be complicated. So Marcia, thanks for asking that, because that's probably you're helping me clarify. I love when my girls pop in and help me out here. It's not even Friday. So Marcia, yes, thank you for bringing that up, because that might have been what the other lady was referring to. So you need 2 spools of thread, definitely. Okay, Pam says she loves her 10 needle. All right, you guys have any more questions for the ladies? Because we are wrapping up our time. This has been so awesome. And next time, I can hardly wait for the next tutorial, by the way. Just reading a couple of these questions. Is the 10 needle universal? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Needles, yes.
Is the 10 needle universal? Oh, uses universal needles? I think that's what she's asking. I don't know, Patricia, if you want to make a little more clarification on there, we can probably answer it. All right. I see a couple questions here from Salonia, like how many brother feet are included as optional. So Salonia, what you want to do is just check the machine that you're looking at. I mean, there's some machines that are sold maybe, on the mass market. If you go, to some of the other stores like that, let's see. Those have a lot less feet than the Luminaire. The Luminaire comes, does anyone have your box right next to you? I have my box. Hold on, I'll get it. It comes with this awesome little box, and to make sure I got both hands on here so I don't open it and it pops. So I don't have everything in here right now, but you can see in here all of these. I love these cases that can just come out and move around. Sometimes if I'm using one thing, I'll just leave it by the machine. And again, I don't have everything in here because I'm working on a project right now, but you can fit all the embroidery. Then you have all your other stuff at the bottom there. So this one comes with the lot. So this is the Luminaire case. Oh, the Move It foot. Yes.
My very favorite.
So it comes with all your basic sewing garment feet. It comes with all your quilting feet that you need. This is your walking foot, but it's way better than a walking foot. It's belt driven here, and you can adjust how fast or slow it feeds. I don't care what you put under this, it will not slip. So even chiffon, anything like that will not slip or move. And even if you have layers of difficult things together, this keeps them all in place, and it is amazing. So if you want to do pearls and sequins, that would be an accessory foot, but you get everything in the box that you need for anything pretty much run of the mill.
Yeah.
And I use my Move It foot even whenever I'm piecing a quilt.
Yep, so do I. You want perfect
Yeah.
match, start to stop. That's the foot to use.
Yeah.
So, okay, while we're talking about that foot, for people who have no clue what that is, it is not a walking foot. It is not the same thing as a walking foot at all. It has its own brain, I would say. That's kind of how I put it.
Its
So,
own
Barb,
brain.
you show the back cord, how it has a back cord on the, that plugs into the machine. Yeah.
So that it looks very bulky. And when I first saw this, I thought, well, I'm never going to use that. And all I had to do was put it on the machine once, and I almost don't take it off. It's so amazing. So.
And I was just doing a project on that using a twin needle, actually. So you can use a lot of different things with that foot, but it's great. And you can go into the machine. So, for example, for those of you who are like, what on earth would I need that for? If you're sewing 2 layers of fabric, maybe you're sewing, I don't know, faux leather on the top, fleece on the bottom, maybe. And when you stitch it regularly, if you end up with one piece of fabric that's longer or shorter than the other, this is what can help that. So this has adjustings in the machine. So if you sew a sample edge and your bottom fabric is shorter, you can adjust that. And then if it's vice versa, you can adjust that. So it actually controls how the layers of fabric roll through that. For those of you that are like, whoa, what is that? That's what it is.
My favorite thing are stripes when you're trying to match a side seam.
Oh.
Because you put those stripes together and you go to sew them, they never match. They don't stay. I don't care how many times you pin it. When you put these stripes together and you don't put a single pin in there, you open it up, it's perfectly matched.
Oh, that's a great one, Barb. I never even thought about that.
Really? You're a garment sewer, girl.
I know, but I'm not. Next, well, I've never paid attention. My stripes don't match.
Oh, now you can get them to match.
Actually, they do match, and it took a gazillion pins. I never even thought about using this foot. See, there's always a good tip that no matter how advanced or beginner you are, that you can get out of this. That's awesome. That foot, yes, Gwen, that foot is included. Jenny says she loves it.
Yes.
Yep. But there are different accessory soles that you can buy. Like this is a Stitch in the Ditch one that's got the guide.
Let me bring you up. Oh, yeah.
See the little guide in the middle? There's also one that's a 1/4 inch that has a guide like this as well.
And then, it has this open toe foot.
There's an open toe.
With the guidelines on the feet. So from center needle to this first line here is 1/8 of an inch, and to the edge it's a 1/4 inch. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I see a few more. What's the foot called again? It's called the Move It. Digital Dual Feed Move It foot. Well, I think it's not in that order, but Move It, Digital Dual Feed. Yeah. I just saw somebody say they love these shows. Where can I find the past videos? So Judy, you are on YouTube right there. So if you are on the YouTube, if you go to the Brothers Sews YouTube page, I don't know if you're on the Brothers Sews or Crafting YouTube page, go to the Brothers Sews YouTube page or the Brothers Sews Facebook page, and you click on videos and you can binge watch all week. Actually, we've been doing this since March, so you can binge watch probably for a couple weeks. There's a lot of videos. All of the ones with the new XP2 though have started. We started these right when it came out. So what was that, about August 1st, something like that?
Yeah.
So you can go back and watch those. So that, Colleen, we answered your question there about the difference between the Move It and the walking foot. And, Lorraine said she's trying it for her stripes.
You'll love it.
And Angela, I believe we're going to continue doing these, correct?
Oh, yes, yes. So not only that are we continuing to do these, we have live shows twice a week on the Brother page. Then we have other ambassadors that have other shows. So whatever level sewing you're at, or embroidering or crafting, you girls have got me into quilting. Of course, I'm quilting my garments, but I'm also quilting little things for the table now because it's so easy and it's so cute. Like, and I always tell everyone, we've been locked home. I don't cook very well at all. I've tried a few times, and thankfully there was a pizza in the freezer. But my husband, he loves it, so it's a great marriage. So what I do is decorate the table and make us cute napkins. That is my forte. So for the next show, when you two girls are on together, Kathy, what are you going to show us next time?
I really want to show you how you can achieve more of your decorative fills by just using the ones that are built into the machine.
Oh,
So
that's going to be good.
Combining them. So I've used that diagonal, that crosshatch that Barb was showing earlier.
Yeah.
And I've combined that and made a plaid.
Oh, do you have a sample by any chance? Not to put you on the spot, probably not next to you, do you?
Real quick.
I got to see this. So, Barb, you called it the crosshatch. What is the technical name for that? I call it the diamonds.
I don't know the technical name. They both work.
A diamond's just stuck in my head. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, right?
Right?
Everybody's saying thanks. Definitely.
I thought I had it in my room. I didn't.
Okay. Well, everyone's just going to have to stay tuned for that, because that's going to be wonderful.
It's a lot of fun. I call them little recipes.
Oh, that's going to be perfect. So everyone, thank you for being here today. This has been so much fun. Kathy and Barb, it's been so great having you in here. While we're not traveling, a lot of the people in here, I saw some of them saying they've learned from you before. They've been at classes with you before. Well, right now we're all virtual. So this is the next best thing. So we'll give you air hugs.
We can't wait to get out again, though. That's just what we miss everyone. And we want to be back on the road as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Marianne wants to know
joining us.
So Marianne, if you go on the Brothers Sews page, we don't have the schedule. It goes out a couple of weeks. Just scroll through the events that are coming up. And if it's someone that you want to see, or if you just want to remember them, just click remember. And just in the side of your notes, usually we are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Usually, not always, there might be a schedule change. I know I have one thing I have to go to. There will be one Thursday that'll be out, but just keep an eye on there. And I try to tell everyone 2 each week when I go live. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are on the Brother page. So that's the most important. And then there's a few other ones too. Like I have one on Wednesdays at 1:30. You get a lot of sewing inspo during the week if you want. And you don't have to watch it live. You can come back later too. We always try to go back and answer your questions if we can. And also be sure to thank Brother for having us. As long as you like us and you tell Brother you want us, maybe we'll be back.
Thanks,
so Barb and Kathy, this has been wonderful. Thank you for all the inspiration. And I can hardly wait till our next session.
I know, it's exciting, huh?
It is very exciting. And we're all going to, everyone take a little snapshot over Kathy's behind there. Your studio's so clean. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's because I cleaned the corner that you could see.
So I have to give a little teaser out here. I'm working on some ideas for the show for us to be on, for December. I always try to plan what we're going to do in advance. So for the holidays, looking at all of your girls' rooms as we've been going through, and guys, as we've been going through the educators, you're so organized in certain areas. And so I'm thinking in December for a couple weeks leading up to the holidays, right before everyone, holidays are crazy. And then, the first year everybody starts organizing. So if we don't do it right before the holidays, we'll do it starting in January, where we're going to start to get little tours of your space. And you can give us some organizing tips. I think that would be helpful for all of us.
I think so.
Yeah. And we'll make sure we only go to the clean sections.
That's right. That's right.
Marianne said cleaning is a waste of crafting time.
You're so right.
Definitely. All right. Well, ladies, have a wonderful day. And I'll look forward to talking to you soon. Bye, everyone.
Right.